To start with, I want to talk about why I chose today's topic as empathy. So early this year, I was having a conversation with Jedi, and he asked me a question on what do you think it would take for Airbenders to win. I did not have an answer then, but I hope to have an answer now. And I was also, at the same time, I was a part of a discussion recently which Madhu held on gender. And at the same time, I was also reading a book on emotional intelligence. And it's a Harvard Business Review book. And one thought led to another thought. And I decided to talk about empathy today. And I've also studied a little bit of empathy and how to understand empathy and explored ideas of empathy when I was doing my master's at Shrishti. And I thought I should share some of my learnings and how we could apply them to being a part of a team and how we could actually help and take it forward and look at it as a winning strategy for us. Hmm. So even before we get started, I know that we all understand empathy in different ways, and we have our own understanding of the term empathy. So I want all of you to go back and think a little bit about empathy, whether you've experienced empathy or you've been empathetic to anybody on and off the field. Take some time and think about it. We'll probably come back to it at the end of the session, and we can share our ideas of what empathy is then. So, what is empathy? A very dictionary answer to it is to understand and share the feelings of another. It is to have the ability to focus on what other people are thinking and what they are feeling or seeing things and understand from their perspective. It is very crucial for a team sport, especially like Ultimate, to uh, have this vision or have this tool of empathy to perform as a team. There is a clear difference between empathy and sympathy, where sympathy is you understand what the other person is going through, but it is probably only from your perspective. You have your idea of it, but not really, you haven't really put yourself in their position and in their shoe and thought about it from their point of view. This is what I understand as empathy, and this is how I define empathy versus sympathy. To talk about empathy in sports, um, as I mentioned, empathy is very, very crucial, especially for a team sport. And for most of it, it can have a very positive impact. When all of us are empathetic towards each other and we experience this sort of a calming effect. It is called as a calming effect when everybody is empathetic towards each other. All athletes are empathetic to each other in a particular sport. And this sense of calming creates a purpose or a belonging that you belong to a team and there is a purpose for you to be a part of this team or a part of this play. And this kind of drives and redirects positive energy and it gives confidence to perform. I have seen and experienced this with airbenders on various occasions. Um, and It can also have another aspect to it where there's a lack of empathy in sports, especially in Ultimate. We are a team where we're a mixed group of people and we have different skill sets and we come from different backgrounds and experiences. And we sometimes tend to not understand where the other person is coming from, especially when we are in an extremely intense game. And a lot of pro elite teams in other sports also experience this, where some athletes who have a different set of skill sets and they're uh, better at the game, they experience a sense of power and they experience a sense of overpowering desire to succeed. And they might not understand or they might not be in a position to understand where the rest of the teammates are because of this difference of level of skills and ideas of the game. And there is always a lack of empathy in such situations, and I have also experienced this part in Ultimate for playing Ultimate for all these years. So it is kind of a important uh, aspect or a tool for a team to have empathy in all possible situations and in all possible scenarios. That's having empathy in sports. And um, the next part is I want to talk about how we can practice empathy as a team. I have read a couple of research papers and I've also read a couple of other articles on coaching and other things, when, especially when we started all girls session and I had led a few sessions. This was where I started looking into coaching and how to be in the right mindset when you're teaching and other things. And I feel like it is important for each team member also to know empathy, especially in Ultimate, because we I think we are always constantly exchanging ideas of how a play should be made and what can happen, what could have done, what could have happened. So while all of this is happening, it is very important for us to make sure we are empathetic. How can we practice empathy? There are a lot of ways to be empathetic. It is hard to be empathetic. You might be able to relate to a lot of situations, and you might think that okay, you have done this right, but what the other person feels might be extremely opposite of what your intention was. So being empathetic is hard, and there are a few points that we can do to make sure we're always empathetic towards your teammates. A couple of do's is um, every player has something called as an emotional tank. As much as it is important for us to be to have the best fitness level and be in the right nutrition and everything, it is very important for us to also be in the right emotional space and be in the right mental space. And when I talk about an emotional tank, each player, irrespective of what level or exposure they have, they all have something called as an emotional tank. And it is important that this emotional tank is always full, and it is as teammates to make sure it is full. How can we make sure it is full? There are different ways to do it. There are some common points we already practice, but we can be more conscious of practicing among all our teammates. Most simple ways are like offering the praise. When you are praising someone, you have to be truthful and you have to be very specific. uh, Otherwise it might feel empty, there might not be any meaning to your praise. So it is important that you're truthful and you have observed someone and you know what they're doing and you want to appreciate honestly. You have to be specific when you offer a praise, and you appreciate your teammate, whether it's a successful assist, the not successful assist. But if they do make a new move or they're trying out something new, you should always applaud. You should always appreciate, and you should be thankful to your players that they give you this opportunity to play with them, or they're giving that space to encourage you to do those moves or passes or assists you
Yeah.
want to do. Another key important aspect of is to listen attentively. I don't know how many of us practice this. Uh, we, at least I think most of us are always ready to tell our observation points and give some sort of a feedback even before listening to your teammate. So it is very, very important that you're listening to your teammate attentively without interrupting. It is very important that you do not interrupt and understand what they're saying first, and only then participate in having a conversation with them or give any sort of feedback. This actually helps teammates build trust, which is a key aspect of working as a team. There are also some don'ts you want to know about when we're talking about an emotional tank of a person. Very important one is about criticizing and correcting. That you do not want to criticize and you do not want to correct a person or give any sort of feedback, especially in crucial points where someone has already made a mistake and you want to correct them there, whether you're a part of the line or not a part of the line. I think we should learn to hold back on it, um, because the mental state of that person might not be, they might not be in a happy state to receive your criticism or correction. And it is very important. This is an important aspect where you're trying to understand your teammate. Another don't is not to ignore your teammate. Uh, Always be aware of who your teammates are and appreciate their presence, whether it is on or off field, and to make them feel that they belong to the team and they're a part of the team. It is important to function and be a successful team. Uh, since I was previously talking about criticizing and giving some feedback and correction, we could a lot of teams practice this. We could also think and look at it this way, where they have a ritual which is called as create. They practice something called as a create a mistake ritual. Um, where the idea is to not avoid making mistakes altogether, but let mistakes happen, but we practice on how to get back from this mistake quickly. Um, this is extremely important for us in Ultimate because it's a mixed gender sport, and women and men have different emotional tanks and different empathy levels. Women generally have a higher empathy level, and they do think more when in some situations, like when they do make a mistake, they're already in a state of self-criticism, and they're in a conversation in their own mind about what they did and how they did. I'm sure even men do it, but when it comes to self-criticism, and women feel it a little more, and we've got to be extremely careful when we're giving feedback and when we're trying to help. You might want to help that person, but our intention might be received in another way if we don't give them enough space for them to accept the mistake and help them bounce back from the mistake. So this is something we can consciously practice in our practice sessions also, where we create a space or we create a ritual where we let mistakes happen. We are okay with mistakes happening, but we focus on how are we getting back from this mistake. How quickly are we getting back from this mistake? And we go back after the session or after the point to look at why this mistake happened, and how we want to envision it or how we want to correct it the next time we are in the same situation. This is about the emotional tank of a player. There are other aspects, like one of them is called as a double vision. Double vision is where you learn to take responsibility of your own action and understand your own game and how to improve from your point of view, and understand what impact it is having on the team by your actions and your behavior, and only then look for external factors or other emotions on the team or other teammates and their emotions and other depending factors. So the idea is to be aware of your emotions, and also understand what the team wants and how what the team's emotion is, and what are the other factors which are important for the team. Hmm. And the last one might be self-awareness again. That it is the same. Like you are aware of your own behavior. Sometimes when we react to situations, it can have a positive or a negative impact on the team. We should be extremely careful on how we react and be aware of our actions and our words also. Um, and just to make sure that our teammates and all of us are in the same mental space, and when it gets when we are in crucial and intense situation, it is even more important that we are aware of our actions and behavior. Mm. So these are some points on how we can practice empathy. And Why do I think it is important for a team to be empathetic? It is extremely, extremely important. For me, I believe personally that it can be a key to winning. From all my experience with Airbenders, I have seen Airbenders in the recent time be in their best form. We have had the best players, we have had the best fitness level, we've had the best skill set. But I have seen Airbenders and I've experienced being a part of Airbenders that we crumble under extreme pressure situation and crucial points. And I feel there is a lack of trust sometimes in these extreme situations, and this can possibly be that we don't understand each other mentally or emotionally. And it is important that we all are in the same space. We all come from the same space of empathy and compassion, and we're available for each other. And this can really help us push through these tough, crucial points in a game and finish on top. And I felt this very strongly when we were playing against Flywire this time. I could see the team not be like the rest of the games in the last couple of points, and we crumbled, and I expected it to happen, and it kind of happened. These are the points that we need to overcome, and I don't. I don't believe that mental ability or the mental space we come from is not important. It is extremely important, and empathy does play a very large role in mental toughness, and it is important for a team to perform and finish on top. Mm, yeah, that's about it. Um, so to end with it, that's all I had for the session today. To end, I would actually like to end the session here and tell the team that empathy is hard and being empathetic is also very hard. But it would be really good for us to go back and reflect on a couple of our actions which we have behaved or told or reacted on our previous experiences. And the next time we come back on the field, we are a little more aware and a little more empathetic, or at least try to be on the field and give equal space mentally for everyone to be there and to be present for each other. Mm, I also have a link which I could share with all of you to test your empathy quotient if you're interested and learn where you stand so that you can be more aware of yourself.
TJ, I have a doubt, or
Yeah.
I just want to understand something. So you spoke about practicing empathy, and if while I understand that empathy has to constantly be practiced and see where we stand, is there something that we can do off field as well towards our training as we go into the new season to say, okay, we are doing better in this direction? Is there something that we could do off field?
Hmm, I think this could be about self-awareness, Vijay. I think this is something we can always practice. At least when I'm pretty sure all of you know that I was extremely reactive on the field. I would react to everything, and I did not have a lot of balance of emotions on the field, especially in intense situations. So one thing I practiced that I would always come back and reflect on why did I react and what happened. How else can I react? Um, this kind of helped me control my emotions in the next coming situation, which to understand from where I came from and where I am now, I feel like I'm in a better space of handling my emotions. Uh, that is something we can all practice often and be extremely aware of how we react to situations and how else we can react. Just be more conscious of our reactions. This is something we can all practice often.
I think there is this is something that I have tried. We have tried, like I think at work sometime. Maybe we could try that. I think as a club, is to role play. So, for example,
Mhm.
if we are trying to understand or put ourselves in someone else's shoes, maybe we could have a discussion between, I mean, any two people, right? So maybe it is Sahan and Snakey, and Snakey would react to a situation the way Sahana would, and Sahana will react to a situation Snakey would. And then that it kind of helps you see how other people see you. And I think it makes you, it is easy to understand what is it when you're saying something, what is it that other people are capturing. For example, I could just be like, I mean, if I were to role play as TJ, I could be saying something, but someone else could be interpreting it as something completely different, right? So that's because it also, each of us also have a different relationship with each other. So the same thing, me saying versus TJ saying, could be interpreted completely by different people. So I think it makes us kind of understand how to be in someone else's shoes and also be a little bit more self-aware. So maybe that is something that you could try. You could try and do some role play exercises on the field.
Yeah, I think we should, especially because we have different set of skills, right? Like how I might understand the game might be completely different from how Vijay or Sahana might understand, and how they take decisions and actions on the field might be completely different. It will be completely different. So uh, it would definitely help if we play, if we try to have this role play to understand each other better. It is important, especially that we have a lot of new players coming in, and we have so many other uh, like kids and younger players joining us. It is important that we look at this and we do it.
Hi, TJ, Gaurav here.
Hi, Gaurav.
TJ. Hi, TJ, great topic. Firstly, I think empathy is a very integral part of our being, and being designers ourselves, we know how integral this is as a part of our process as well. TJ, I had a question around communication and empathy,
Yeah.
for which I just wanted to kind of demonstrate an example scenario. Say, for example, we are in a game, right, and there's a fellow player of yours who is the game has started, the disc has come to him, he has passed it to you, and then you've progressed it forward, then you've given it back to this person. This person sees an opportunity and finishes the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice this happening a couple of times, that the game is getting over too fast with a couple of
Mm-hmm.
passes, and you kind of don't like it. How important do you think communication is in such scenarios where you feel something is not going right? And how would you approach this, keeping in mind this topic today and communication, the importance of communication?
Yeah, so we should probably look at it from both perspective. You spoke about how if I was a player and the game is getting finished in a couple of passes, right? Um, we should probably look at understanding it from my point of view if I'm on the line, and the other player also, on why are they doing it uh, more often or repeatedly, uh, and is it causing any disturbances among the team itself? I would think about this to understand both perspective. Empathy is important part of communication, and communication is important when you're dealing with situations like this. Uh, it is hard, right, to completely understand where the other person is coming from, because your thought process is different from the other person. We, at least from my point of view, I think there should be a healthy discussion on mm, why this is happening, and understand both perspectives, and see if this is what the team wants to do, and go ahead doing it or not do it. I think I would probably look at it like that, Gaurav.
Thanks, TJ. No, it was important, and I was very happy to hear that you mentioned that you would take out some time to understand
Yeah.
What is going on. That aspect resonates with me, and I was looking. I think you answered it well. Yeah.
Yeah, I had started the session with saying that, if you all have ever experienced empathy or showed or been empathetic on or off field and you want to share that experience, probably we could discuss that also now.
I think if I were to say, I think personally, I think there's a lot of smaller shows of empathies that we quite often don't see. Even, for example, a player on the sideline running in and filling water and making sure that everybody is hydrated and staying active and is not, letting their energy level drop. I think that itself is a great show of empathy. I think it shows that you're not only thinking about how you're going to play the game, you're thinking about the team, you're thinking about everybody as one unit, and I think that's a great show of empathy.
Hey guys, just something I'd like to put forward. This is not a personal experience or anything, but I mean, I've heard about this strategy being adopted by certain football clubs and stuff, where it's no longer a very hardline sort of judgment type of coaching method, where, if you make a mistake, you're sort of you basically you're fighting for your spot if you're making a mistake or something like that. But it's more about sort of encouraging the player to perform at a better level through sort of understanding what went wrong in that situation. So I felt like that's kind of an anecdote which connects to what we are talking about today. So I feel it's slowly being recognized as an important strategy to improve performance in sports.
I want to ask TJ about an instance of empathy that she felt.
There have been a lot of instances actually. Mm. Especially when we played single gender, I think. Like I mentioned that we create a culture of being okay with mistakes. We hadn't planned for this or anything, but I think all of us, when we're playing single gender tournament, we kind of just understood that it is okay. Nobody was really harsh on anyone when we were making mistakes, and it was extremely. The experience just always still is like very important, and it remained as a uh, one of my best experiences of playing a single gender tournament, and the entire team was extremely empathetic towards who you are and what you are and who you can be on the field, and I played at extreme freedom, and that was very nice, and that is what comes to my mind right now. Yeah, that's about it for today's session.